All right, so it is Friday now. It's about 12:45. We've been on the road for about 4.5 hours, yeah?
Yeah.
We're in Battle Mountain, Nevada. We're headed to Salt Lake City, Utah today, and we'll be stopping at the Bonneville Salt Flats, so looking forward to that. Rebecca has been driving so far today. How do you feel?
I feel fine. It's just hot here. It's like desert.
Yeah, we just got gas and we're gonna keep going. So this was the first big drive of our road trip, going from Tahoe all the way to Salt Lake City. It took about 8 hours, I think, overall, and it kind of took us all through Nevada, which ended up being super flat, not too much going on. It was super, super hot, and so we were really happy when we crossed the state line into Utah. And along the way, before we got to Salt Lake City, we got to stop at the Salt Flats, which is a super unique destination where there's pretty much just like dried salt on the floor, and it kind of extends so far that you can't see from one side to the other because of the curvature of the earth, which is pretty cool. And unfortunately, there's two sides of the salt flat, and the highway kind of goes in between them. We were on the less interesting side, but in order to actually get across to the other side of the highway, we would have had to go all the way down, I think another like almost hour, and then turn around and come back, since there wasn't a way to cross over from one side of the highway to the other while we were in the middle of it. But once we got into Salt Lake City, we checked into our first Airbnb. A nice surprise when we got there was that the owner actually owned a cat named Midnight, which visited us a few times throughout our short stay. We really enjoyed that, and it ended up being a theme throughout the rest of the trip. As the other couple Airbnbs we stayed at, the owners also had pets, and it was a nice addition to those stays as well. Okay, so it's Sunday morning on the 19th. We're here in Salt Lake City at the Airbnb. We're getting ready to leave. We got in around dinner time last night, and then we'll be exploring the temple today, going around the city, and then we'll be driving out to Wyoming and spend the next 2 nights camping. And so this is our last time in a nice civilized bed and shower, and yeah. So we spent the day exploring Salt Lake City a little bit. Because we had to drive out to Wyoming later that day, we didn't have too much time, but in those few hours we had, we were able to check out the temple square a little bit, see the Mormon temple, the event center where the Mormon Tabernacle Choir sings, and some of it was under construction, so we didn't get, I guess, the biggest grand look at everything, but it was kind of interesting to see those parts of the city and how kind of the geography and the layout is kind of based on the temple and how far each street is from the temple. But after that, we got gas at Costco, and the cheapest gas we've seen the entire trip at the Costco in Salt Lake City was like $1.99 a gallon, and so that was really nice to see coming from California, even in the middle of the pandemic. But once we got gas, we headed out and drove over to Wyoming, and I think this drive was a little bit more interesting than before. I think Nevada ended up being the most boring drive and the longest drive for us. Alright.
It's been a long day.
It very much has. Yeah, so we started out in Salt Lake City this morning. We got to go downtown, we checked out the temple square, took some good pictures. We got lunch at Pretty Bird, which is a really good like Nashville hot chicken sandwich place. And then we hopped on the road, pretty much drove all the way across Utah, got into Wyoming.
Across Wyoming.
Across Wyoming.
We're on the eastern side of Wyoming.
Yep. Yeah, and so the drive was really nice. There was like a small fire on the side of the highway, but other than that, we got to the national forest, super pretty. We're doing dispersed camping, so on BLM land, so Bureau of Land Management, it's federal land that you can just camp on if you find like campsites that looks like people have already been there. And so we did, we set up, there's our tent, we made a quick dinner, and the sun just set. It's like 9,
It's like 9.
Yeah, so there's like a little bit of light left, but we're pretty tired, so.
Oh yeah. Go to bed early, get some sleep, and maybe wake up tomorrow and explore the area, maybe go on some hikes. But yeah.
Yeah, the next 2 days we'll be in the wilderness away from everybody, and so that'll be really nice. We just saw the sunset, super cool colors. It did sprinkle a little bit earlier, so hopefully it doesn't like rain or something like that. But yeah, we were without a toilet, tour pretty much any facilities for the next couple days, and it'll be interesting. Good night.
Good night. Butterfly!
Yeah? Okay, so it's Monday morning now on July 20th. We've just finished making breakfast, just finished making my morning coffee. On the trip, I've been trying to find like a local roastery in all the cities we've been in, and instead of like buying a cup of coffee, I've bought a bag of coffee. It's a really nice sunny day today, and we're looking forward to checking out some trails, taking some pictures in the local area.
Ready?
Okay, so it's Tuesday morning now. It's about, what, 10 a.m.?
Yep, 10:10.
So we ended up not hiking yesterday. We just took a chill day off, did some quiet time, did a long afternoon nap. We got to go stargazing at night, got some really cool shots which we'll be able to share with you guys. But yeah, Wyoming's been really nice so far. Yeah. The weather isn't too hot, isn't too cold at night. The only thing is mosquitoes.
Bro, the mosquitoes.
The mosquitoes have been annoying the heck out of us. But it's okay, I think it's worth it. We just wanted to take a second and check in, share this wonderful view with you guys. We've been staying at Medicine Bow National Forest. We're here hiking up around Lake Marie. Super nice, you can even see like the fish who were here last night like jumping out, trying to catch flies and stuff. The mosquitoes, yeah. They were trying to get their food, but we'll be leaving probably after lunch today, heading over to Littleton, Colorado. And so, gonna get back on the road. So coming from 2 nights in the National Forest, Rebecca and I were super happy to finally have a hot shower, sleep in a warm bed, and despite how much we love sleeping under the stars, nothing beats kind of a warm bed at night inside, away from the mosquitoes. One of the main reasons why we chose Colorado as, I guess, our eastmost point in the road trip is because we wanted to visit our friend Dominic, who's interning there this summer. And we are super happy to be able to see him, grab dinner with him that night when we arrived, and just plan out what we wanted to do for the next day or two. And since the pandemic has shut down a lot of things, and because we wanted to be outside in the open air, we decided that we would check out the Denver Zoo. And since it's been quite some time for the three of us since we've been to a zoo, probably since grade school, we decided that it'd be a fun opportunity, and so we got our tickets and kind of planned out the next day. And so that next morning we got to check out Denver a little bit, walking around downtown, some of the parks in the area, and then we grabbed lunch and headed over to the zoo. I'm glad they were able to put the necessary precautions in place. I think the water park nearby kind of lent them the lifeguards chairs, and so these chairs were kind of spread out through the park, and the park people were kind of just sat atop, making sure everybody had their masks on and things like that. But we got a lot of cool pictures of different types of animals. We just got to see a bear, some monkeys. They had a really cool exhibit with reptiles and frogs and more tropical animals and things like that. And we had a lot of fun there for the afternoon. And then we wanted to cook, since we haven't had a kitchen for so long. And for me, I think just cooking with Dominic is something that I've really enjoyed throughout college. And so we decided to make pizza. We went to Trader Joe's, got all the ingredients, and then just spent the rest of that evening cooking together, sharing stories and laughs. And yeah, it was just super sweet to be able to see him before we left, since we didn't get to see Dominic at all during the spring quarter. In hindsight, I think Colorado ended up being a super fun city for Rebecca and I to have a couple days just to rest and relax and catch up with friends and things like that. We really enjoyed the city, I think. Kind of comparing all the states that we'd been in so far, for Colorado, it was the most similar to California, just in terms of, I don't know, just the sights, the way things were laid out. It felt really nice, and we really liked Denver and just the surrounding area that we were in. And with that, we said our goodbyes. We were thankfully able to do a load of laundry before we left, but we packed our bags, packed the van, and got ready just to go on the next leg of our trip through southern Utah. And we were super excited to see a bunch of national parks, but we were also preparing ourselves to just be out again, camping for a couple nights. But yeah, stay tuned. We're super excited to share that part with you next.